For the fourth time, the United States of America are crowned champions of the world, and for the very first time they've done it on European soil. It is finished at the Stade de Lyon in the final in victory and joy for the United States.
So actually I got to watch the final with a bunch of girls on the team. We were celebrating one of our birthdays at Abby's beach house, and we all got together and watched the game on Sunday, which was really fun, the final. And it was exciting just to see like how much hype was around like the women's game, and compared to the last year, the men's World Cup final, I think it was something really great to just get together with your teammates especially.
Yeah. For the final at least, we were actually coming back from a tournament, me, Tori, and one of my other good friends, and we actually just lost in the semifinals, so we were all a little like obviously upset. So I don't know, watching the game kind of just like brought back our energy and just realized like the love for the game and that this wasn't the end of the world and that we all have great futures. So
I think I watched pretty much almost every single one of the games. I watched them with my friends, with my dad, by myself sometimes. I even called off of work one day to watch the U.S. semifinal versus France, or quarterfinal. But yeah, I mean, I watched a lot of them and I thought they were all great, so.
Yeah, I also watched them like with my friends or with my family or with my boyfriend and his family in Maryland. We all went out to a restaurant and watched it there, so that was really fun.
I watched most of the World Cup games with my mom and dad. My dad, of course, was a good person to watch with because he understands the game well. He's from Ghana and he grew up playing. My mom, on the other hand, didn't really understand what was going on, but she was always there to cheer and such, so it was like fun to watch with them.
Yeah, so I had an internship over the summer from 9 to 5, so I kind of had to adjust like my schedule around that, so I watched the games on my work laptop. Don't tell my boss, please. But yeah, obviously the weekend games I would be with my family. My dad is a huge influence for me for soccer. He played professionally. He played throughout his whole life pretty much. So like watching with him, like he'd always like stop and be like, "Do you see that? Do you see that?" Like stuff like that. So like watching with him and the rest of my family was always fun too.
I have a really big family, so every time there was a game, we all got together. There was like 17 of us in my living room, all watching the game. It was really good. We watched almost all of them too.
I watched all the games, obviously with my twin sister, but sometimes I was at like, training or out doing something, like with my friends or something. I would watch a lot on my phone on the app, the France app, so I watched a lot of them just so I could keep updates and watch the U.S. if I wasn't. And then the one time we were coming home from regionals soccer tournament, we had a laptop in the car and we watched the U.S.-England game.
So my dad's actually from France, so I have a lot of family there and stuff. So when we found out the World Cup was going to be in France, me and my dad had planned on going. So we planned a trip. So we were able to go to 2 round of 16 games where I saw Australia play Norway and Italy play China. One game was in Nice and one was in Montpellier. My family lives in the south of France, so it was pretty cool to just be able to like go off and see the games with my dad. He's a soccer coach as well, so it's like something we're both really passionate about and something that we share together, so it was a really special experience.
For me, it was like really exciting. Like every time they kept scoring, I was like, there's no shot they're gonna score yet. There's no shot. We're at goal 9, and I'm like, how are they doing this? I know a lot of people thought it wasn't good sportsmanship. I mean, I feel like they came prepared, they came ready to play, and I feel like it doesn't matter who your opponent is, like you come ready to play and you're not going to change your style of play. I know some people had problems with the way people were cheering. I mean, maybe that could have went differently. But I feel like, that's their identity is to keep going hard and show no mercy, and I think that's what they did.
Yeah, I definitely agree that they came out to play. I actually didn't get to watch that game because I was at work, so I was just like keeping up with like the live updates and just being like, oh wow, like another goal, like that's crazy. But I think like if you're gonna score that many goals, go for it. Like you are trying to like make a statement, like you're trying to do as best as you can. But like towards the end, like with Thailand, like it's their first World Cup appearance, like it's the first time like they're playing in a major tournament. Like I think like if you're getting towards like 10, 11, 12, like I think maybe like keep like
slow
this,
down a little.
yeah, like not even like with the goals, like you want to keep scoring, go for it, get 20 goals for all I care, but like I think like once you get to like those higher goal numbers, I think like, okay, like I scored, that's great, but like now it's kind of time to just like stop celebrating as if like you won the final, like, you know.
Okay, yeah.
So
Part of being a female in athletics is proving yourself to the rest of the world that like you have the same capabilities as men. I think that's something that the women really wanted to showcase, that they have these powerful players who can finesse goals and despite the opponent kind of really be able to showcase that. On the other hand though, like there is a sportsmanship aspect to it, but it's the World Cup, so kind of bring your A game and show the world what you got.
I agree. I definitely see both sides. Also, like, goals do matter, and, like, it can, like, change the difference whether you make it onto the next round or not. So I definitely agree with that. And a big controversial topic was the celebrating of the goals. So, like, some people didn't think you should still be celebrating, but it is really important, and it's on such a big level, and you've worked so hard to get there, that you should celebrate. But it's also, I mean, there's so many people watching, and you want to also be courteous of, like, other teams' families and the other team themselves. So I could definitely see both sides.
I think Megan Rapinoe's like arms up like this kind of encapsulated like the powerful women like in the World Cup, and I think that Megan Rapinoe has a lot to stand for, especially in social justice aspects. And I think that pose was seen in a lot of the media and kind of like what she's doing for the women's game and women in general. I think it's really important.
Yeah. And then also Alex Morgan, like, sipping the tea after she scored against England. And I thought it was a cool celebration, but, I mean, you just scored a goal in the World Cup. You should be able to celebrate, and I just think have some fun with it. You don't need to take everything so personal, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was cool. I think
Yeah.
it was funny and had like a double meaning, which
Yeah.
is kind of cool. And
Yeah.
it was her birthday also, so
Yeah.
she can do what she wants.
My favorite player on the U.S. national team was Julie Ertz, because she has so much grit in her play, and she doesn't lose her 1v1 battles. She plays so hard every game. She's such a good leader. She talks a lot. She communicates, and she just takes a hold of the game and makes it her game every time she plays. So
I would say one of my favorite, I have a couple, but either Rose Lavelle or Alex Morgan, because Lavelle is so creative in the middle and has like fire when she's going forward in the attack.
She's young.
And she's a youngin'. And then Alex Morgan, because every time she gets the ball, she's either helping to create or going forward with speed. And just to see like how fast she moves is like something that I'm trying to work towards after like my injury and stuff, just getting faster. And she's just so explosive up top. So I like her.
I'd say my favorite player is Rose Lavelle, mainly just because we play similar position. She's very crafty, but she gets the job done. Kind of straightforward at times, but then she'll pull something pretty cool off and go to the goal or dish it off to the side. She just makes it work all the time.
I think my favorite player would be Christian Press. She's a very underrated player. She didn't play that much in the World Cup. She's plays the same position as Alex Morgan, and I think Alex Morgan gets a lot of the attention and press, but I think Christian Press is definitely just as good, if not better, technically and tactically. So just from that standpoint, I think she's my favorite player.
I just think they're really cohesive and, play so well together. A lot of the team played in the last World Cup together, so just being able to, like, have that drive to win again and play so well with one another, like, even bringing on new players like Rose Lavelle and some people who weren't able to play as much in the first tournament that they won, and kind of have those older players like Megan Rapinoe kind of step up and step into a role that was able to get them to succeed and do really well.
I think like with their previous success, I think winning, what is this, their third or fourth World Cup? Fourth. I think definitely like it's all about team chemistry and how like hard they work, and they're all, you could see like in interviews, like they all said like they're all sisters, like they all got along so well. I think definitely a championship team comes from sisterhood and like getting along with each other, because what you do off the field definitely reflects to what you do on the field.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you follow any of their social media accounts, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, they're always posting about what they're doing off the field, and you can tell, like, everybody knows each other, they all get along well, and, like, that makes for a great team. And you could see it translated on the field very well. So.
Definitely.
It means a lot, especially with all the equal pay stuff that has been going on with the women's team and how our they were able to just like play the game that they love, no matter like the differences between the men's game and the women's game. They just proved to the whole country that they're here to stay, and they mean something to the game of soccer, especially the U.S. team, which has way more success than the men's team. So just being a female athlete, especially in soccer, which is such like a heavily driven sport in Europe, and the U.S. was able to dominate in the tournament that was in Europe with such a big presence, especially in the men's game. They were able to establish a role in the women's game, and it means a lot for us younger women in the sport to just see others just taking a large step and proving something to the rest of us that we're all capable of success in soccer.
I think it was so cool seeing it, and I personally got to go to the parade in New York City, so that was so exciting just to watch everybody supporting them. And as young female athletes, it's so exciting for our future, knowing what the possibility is and knowing that we have so many people supporting us and that the game is growing so much and people are starting to take care and start watching. And
Yeah, and especially with like everything going on between like pay and whatever else their controversy is about, seeing like the support that the game has and how like big things can happen, how far we can take the game. Like for example, what's her name? Marta. She's on Brazil, but she was talking about how important the game is and how important it is that we, like us young athletes, take it further and like actually care about it, put the work in, and train that extra time so that it transfers over into the game, and like just how there's so much that we can do, us young athletes, for the game, and just seeing how many people are supportive of it is just like, it's great to see.